I am out here to reshoot a video because I put that trap in my #1 spot the other day that I'm standing in now, and I messed up. I didn't have a good video of it. The chest piece that I was wearing didn't work, so I'm gonna reshoot it. Like I said, this is that #1 spot on the map, new trapping series on Normal Outdoors. So I'll pop that map up down here so that you can look at it and see where I'm talking about, and I'll get this camera turned around and explain where I'm fixing to set this trap. The old trapping wagon right over there, like my son likes to call it. Anyway, a little bit of shade right here, but these cedar trees here are from that spot. Here's an old catch circle right here. I can get my shadow out of the way. Old catch circle there. But this trail comes down through here, like I explained on the map. Back there in that corner over there is where the critters come from. They run down through there, and this year they actually went around this cedar tree a little bit, and they come in between these two cedar trees right here, and then they ease on out right there. So got me some backing picked out right here, and you can see my trap laying there next to it. I'm fixing to get my stuff out, set this camera up so y'all can watch me do this, and we're gonna put a trap in the ground right there. So here we go, got my gloves on now. I love this natural backing. It's got this natural guard on the left hand side over here. I don't know if you can see this little weed that's sticking up. It's got this natural weed here that's growing. This one here is actually pretty good also. And I've got this poker in place right here to show you where this trap's gonna be. But this right here is natural to keep them from coming in from this side. This over here is natural, keeps them from coming in this side. So I need to put my trap right here somewhere. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna try to keep my shadow out of this the best I can. All right, first things first, find me a good spot back in there for my little spot that I'm gonna poke that driver in, almost like a little V. I'm gonna remove this little Duff natural ground material. I'll set it right there to the side because I'll be using it in a second to reset this back up to where it looks like I was never here. They're gonna smell me. They're gonna know I was here, but I don't want them paying attention to where the trap is at. So this being a flat set, I need it to be as smooth as possible right there. So first things first, I'm gonna start digging my trap bed. And I'm trying to catch a fox here. I wouldn't be mad if I caught something else, but I'm gonna put this a little tighter than what I normally would. Usually I measure like that right there, about, I don't know, that's 8-9 inches. So that's gonna be pretty good. So right about where my thumb is, where I want my pan. And get my sifter out. And put this dirt from this trap bed in my sifter because we're gonna use it here in a minute. But you never use all of it that you dig out, but you'll use some of it for sure. And I'm trying to cut this trap bed kind of tight without disturbing too much of the ground around it. Obviously I've got to disturb where the trap's going to go, but I don't want to disturb too much of the other area around it. I don't want any loose dirt sticking out, nothing like that. Just a little bit of clay mixture, sand, so I think this is going to be a pretty good little set. All right, I got my trap here. Still had the polyfill under the pan. And last time, I'm gonna go ahead and set this real quick, make sure everything's working on it properly as it should. Clean that jaw off a little bit, some dirt on it from last time I set it. Okay. And that trap set right there. Looks like it's gonna be good. I'm gonna go ahead and put my polyfill under the pan. Now, in reference to these traps, this side of the jaw flips up and down. I call that the soft side. And then the side that has the dog on it, I call it the hard side. I like the soft side facing me, so I can flip that up if I need to and work under it. Also, sometimes I worry about that dog being on this hard side right here. I worry about that dog facing the animal. They put their foot down on it and that dog flies back and helps them kind of pull their foot out of the way. I don't want that. So right now all I'm doing is sizing up this trap in here, and you can see that. I hope you can see that right there. That is a perfect cutout hole. Plenty of room for the ears on both sides. And judging from the levelness of the ground, I'm pretty level right here. That's what I want. It could go down a hair more, but it probably will when I wiggle it. So now all I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna go ahead and set that night latch on this trap. All right, set it to the side. Get my little trowel here. I'm gonna dig me a hole out in the middle of this where I'm fixing to put that earth anchor. That's gonna be where my chain and earth anchor and everything sits down in there. I don't need that clay, so I'm gonna throw it away. A little bit further down in there, it gets into some pretty hard clay. But that's where everything's gonna sit, down in there. Okay, I've got my earth anchor attached to it. I'm simply gonna take this driver, put it on there, and I'm gonna push it down as far as I can by hand first. And that's actually let me push it down in there. Now, I'm putting a lot of weight on this to get it to go, but it went almost all the way. Now you can see I drove that driver down as far as it'll go. Get that out. The reason I do that is because now I'm gonna set that anchor, and it came up about 3 inches. They always do. And now when I go to set this trap in here, I want my chain and everything that's underneath this trap, I almost put it in there backwards, to set down in that hole so it doesn't affect the trap any. And I can tell you right now, I'm not a fan of that. So I'm gonna kind of hammer it down in there. It didn't have enough room. Can't have your trap sitting on your chain. If your trap is sitting on your chain, when you try to set this, see, I got a little bit of wiggle right now, but if it was sitting on that chain, it would definitely be wiggling, and that wouldn't be good. Now, the trick to help you set these so you don't have any of that wiggle, as you can see right there, it's wiggling. So I need to put a little bit of dirt under that ear right there. I'm just gonna smash it around with my finger, and I'm just working dirt up around the sides. I'm gonna pull it down. This is a tight trap bed, so shouldn't have a whole lot of issue there. I try not to pack it too hard on top of the ears. I don't know if it matters, to be honest with you. These things are fire either way to come up through the ground, but I feel like when those things throw up, I want them to throw up hard. Now, just that little bit I did right there, I got a little wiggle on this soft jaw, but that's just because it's the soft jaw. But this over here is solid. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna pick that soft jaw up, and I'm gonna put a little bit of dirt right here. I'm not gonna get it under the pan, but I'm gonna build this up a little bit right here on the front side, because that jaw needs something to set on that's solid. So now when I pull this jaw down, I can see a gap under there. Now, but when I push it down, it settles into that dirt right there. Now it's solid. And now I'm definitely gonna pack all the way around it. Guys, this is the most important thing to trapping. I mean, short of setting on sign, I really feel like this is the most important thing to trapping. If you don't set this trap in here to where it's tight and it doesn't wiggle, you could be on a spot that 100 coyotes or foxes or bobcats or whatever come through a night. Your bobcats maybe, but foxes and coyotes, if this thing wiggles any at all, they will not get in your trap. It's just not going to happen. They're too smart for it. It just won't happen. They feel that wiggle, they're gone. I don't care what you put in the hole to try to entice them. And again, I'm just kind of packing this down, making it level, making it look good. This trap is solid. There's no wiggle in that, no matter how hard I push down. So now I'm going to take my peat moss. If you watch my other videos, you know I love peat moss. And I'm just going to sprinkle it inside the jaws right here. This is pre-sifted peat moss. That's why I'm not sifting it, in case anybody's wondering. Peat moss is cheap, y'all. I bought a bag of peat moss, like 4 square yards or something, 2 years ago. I'm not even halfway through that bag. And I've set so many traps with it, and I think it was 40 bucks or something. Which, I mean, I'm not saying that's not a lot of money. There's been times in my life where $2 was a lot of money. I'm not saying it's not, but if you're gonna get into trapping, there's some things that you're gonna have to buy. You don't have to have peat moss, but it definitely holds better in the water, everything. Now you can see I'm constantly brushing that trap pan right there with my hand. I need to know where that's at, but I'm trying to pack everything around it to where it's not soft. And now all I have is this flat area right here, trap pan right in the middle. Okay, and I'm trying to stay out of this. It's actually a little bit harder videoing. I'm trying to stay out of this area as much as I can. I don't want the shade in your way. This little blade of grass right there, I'm gonna move it, obviously. But you know, I got my trap where I want it. I'm gonna do some other things to the trap, but right now is when I need to figure out where I want my bait and all of that to go. Now I picked it out before and I said I wanted it about 7-8 inches, 9 inches, whatever, back in here. So straight from that trap pan, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to make a little hole back here in my backing in these weeds with my driver. And I'm making it big enough I can shove some bait down in there. But I'm not drilling a dirt hole here with my big drill or anything. I'm just putting a little hole back there in the back. Just like that. It is angled straight to this trap pan. I don't want him to be able to get at it from the side, this side. I want him to have to look straight down that. He's going to want to, and he'll step on that trap pan. So let's bait this thing up and see what we got. Shade messing with me. This goes a lot quicker if you're not trying to video it. Little stick that I made up, I carved it. It's got a poker on one side and a little spoon on the other. It just worked good for me trapping. I like to make stuff for trapping. This is some bobcat meat. I trapped bobcat last year, and everything hates bobcat. They hate them. They want to steal their food, but if the bobcat's dead, they want to eat it. Everything loves bobcat meat. Cats, dogs, coyotes, you name it. So a little bit of bobcat meat in the hole. Like I said, I want to try to trap a fox here, so I got this Wicked Vixen Red Fox Gland lure. Works on gray foxes too. That from Southern Snares. I can't say enough about Southern Snares. Sorry about the road noise. I got roads on west side of me, north side of me, south side of me. For some reason, these people around here like to drive like crazy. Got me a stick here. Some of this lure and stuff is thicker than others, so you need you thicker stick or something to grab it. Dabbed a little bit on there, and I'm gonna stick it in that weed right there. I don't put it in the hole. I mean, I know they can smell it down in that hole, but I want it up here in the wind. I want them to be able to smell it. Just makes me feel better. You can do what you want. I think it works either way. So that's a little gland lure. Next, I'm gonna put a little bit of Dirty Rat Predator lure. Everything loves this. Also from Southern Snares. This is not a long distance call lure per se. I mean, it'll go as far as you need it to, but it's a good lure for sure. I don't know what they put in it, but everything likes it. I mean, I even like the way it smells, which is odd. Anyway, I got it all over that stick right there, and I'm just gonna stick it right there. I'm just trying to get their attention to come right here. That's all it is. So we're baited up, and this is, again, kind of hard for me to do at an angle. I'm usually right in front of the trap. Shadow is getting in my way. Put my gloves back on here. All right, got my gloves back on. Now, I need to sift a little bit of dirt right here, and I'm not gonna go crazy. I see people, again, not saying they're doing it wrong. I see people get their sifters on YouTube and stuff, and man, they'll sift this entire area with dirt. For me, I just don't want them to, I don't really want them on these flat sets. I don't want them to know this big disturbance area. So I'm gonna be real careful, and I'm just gonna sift dirt right here over my peat moss in this area that you can see. All right, I get me a good layer on there. Now, I'm gonna take my pinky here, and I'm gonna find that trap pan again. There it is. I'm gonna pull the dirt off that trap pan, and what it's done now is it's kind of created a little, like, bowl in there. And you see I'm patting this decent. Don't be scared of it. If it's gonna get you, it's gonna get you. I'm gonna create this little bowl. I'm gonna kind of smooth it out right there. Pat all that down a little bit. And then I'm gonna go over it one more time. Real lightly, just in that area. Okay. There's a couple little claws right there. So you can't, I don't know if you can see it on that or not. This trap pan is lower than everything around here. Now, animals like to stick their feet on stuff like that. So that's what we want. Okay, if you remember earlier, I pulled back what I call duff off the side, just this natural ground vegetation right here. It's all dead. Kind of looks like hay. I pulled all that back. I set it to the side. It was just a little bit, but I needed a little bit more, so I went over to the side over here. I grabbed me a little bit more. I've got it all in my sifter, and now I'm just going to sift it over the top of that. Okay, now that I do sift everywhere, not just that area. I kind of let it flow everywhere. There's a leaf in here, whatever. I'm just gonna barely brush back where that trap pan is with my hand. Now, I made sure there's no sticks or anything in here. You can't see the dirt. It looks like it did when I left. A little bit of an indentation here. There's no way around that. But it looks like it did before I got here. And that's what I want. It's a flat set right here. You could call it a dirt hole if you wanted to, I guess, because I did put a little hole back there in them weeds, but it's not a flashy dirt hole set. I like flashy dirt hole sets, but not right here. I don't want them to know what's happening here. And I'll just simply move a little bit of that stuff out of the way of the pan, because them animals are kind of picky about where they put their feet sometimes. But if they come walking through here down this trail this way, or say they come from that way, they've got to come in here and look right down there. All right, y'all. Short of me picking up my stuff, this set is done. I apologize for the sunlight. I can't do anything about that. I tried. But this set's done. This is my #1 spot on my map that was on the first video. If I catch something here, I'll definitely show it to you. You know, if you like what you're seeing here, you want to know more about this or anything like that, reach out to me, comment on the video, give us a thumbs up, a like, so I'll know that all this effort I'm putting into video this is worth something to somebody, because believe me, it's a lot easier to come out here and set traps without videoing this. These things would have helped me out when I first started. Go on to our channel, Normal Outdoors. We got a trapping section on there. My son does some bow hunting, killing some deer. I tried to film a couple, but I'm no good at filming. You know, we're gonna do some fishing. I think we're gonna do a little bit of everything outdoors. That's just the way our family is. We like outdoors. It's a beautiful day. It's middle of January out here. Perfect weather. You can see I'm in a t-shirt. Not sweating too much, putting traps in the ground. I like that. So give us a thumbs up, y'all. Shoot me a comment. Ask me any questions. Tell me you like this. Tell me, you know, maybe I did something wrong on this flat set. You got a better idea of how to do it. There's some guys out here that might watch this video, have been doing this a lot longer than me. And, you know, I'd love to hear from y'all. I'd hunt you down if I could and sit and talk to you and drink coffee for a couple hours and see if I can get some of that knowledge. But y'all tell me what you think. Let us know. If we're doing good, we need to know about it. If we're doing something better I can do, man, tell me. But anyway, hopefully I'll have a catch here before too long, and I'll be able to show it to y'all, show you that these sets work, and we will see y'all on the next one.